Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back again with another video. You're with your host, Ronaldo, and of course, your expert analyst here in the house, Davian Sterling. Welcome, Davian.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Well, we have so much to talk about, so much stuff to talk about with regards to West Indies cricket. And we're going to start, of course, with the warm-up match. So we saw West Indies play a warm-up match, a 3-day warm-up match against Cricket Australia, ended in a draw, and there's lots of stuff to talk about from that game. So first thing, Davian, give me your summative assessment of how the game went for West Indies.
Well, I think West Indies will be pretty satisfied with the draw, seeing that when Cricket Australia team that was put forward, they were struggling at 149 for 5. So with that end, they'll be quite pleased. And in the first innings and second innings, they managed to declare. And what I think is more impressive, they actually made more runs in the second innings than the first innings. Most times when West Indies play test match, they tend to make a lot of their runs in the first innings and they struggle in the second innings. So I think this is a trend which I like to see be maintained. However, the very disappointing aspect for me is in both innings, Alec Altanese and Kurt McKenzie, they failed to impress. And these bowlers are not, they're nowhere close being Australia first choice test bowlers. They're struggling against these guys. Imagine how they're going to do against Pat Cummins, Mitchell Stark, and Josh Hazelwood, and Mitchell Marsh, and Cameron Green, and Nathan Lyon. So that's a huge worry for me. See, more than likely those guys will be placed at number 3, number 4. So they really need to step up. And also Tangerine Chanderpaul, also he's not in form. He's not in form.
Excellent summary with regards to the batting from West Indies. But there's a lot of questions I have for you today. So remember, when we were selecting our 11 before the warm-up game, you said that you'd have had Alec Athanas batting at 3 and Kurt
Right,
McKenzie at 4. Now, I'm just going to fast forward what's being displayed, the summary of the game, and look at what happened in this actual game now. So, Kurt McKenzie and Athanas batted at 3 and 4. You would have had them in the reverse order.
right,
Athanas
right,
3, Kurt McKenzie 4. And also, you didn't have in who was it in your you didn't have in your starting 11 Justin Greaves, I
right,
think, because you
right.
had the two spinners ahead of Justin
Just
Greaves.
injuries.
So
Right,
now,
right.
given this warm-up game, looking at Athanas, McKenzie, Greaves, would you now rejig your order in terms of how you'd have played the batsman, and would you also put in Justin Greaves based on this warm-up
Uh,
game?
All right. So Justin Greaves has to play. Definitely he has to play. He has to play. He has to play. Right now I'm thinking I had Alec Altanese at number 3, but I'm really thinking number 3 is way too high for him, seeing how he struggled at number 4. But my thing is, if he bats at number 5, who bats at number 4?
At
So
this
that is the
point,
issue.
I personally remember last week when we met and I told you that Kavem Hodge, I gave you a cheeky comment and I said, look
Uh,
out for this guy.
yeah,
I've been
yes,
watching him in first class season, even though his
right,
average is around about 38. He would have gotten starts, and what I like about him was he just seemed to have that temperament to get big runs. So Kavem Hodge, I think he's more technically equipped to bat at
right.
4 and put back Athanas back at 5. What's your thought on that now?
Yeah, I'll go with that option. It's obviously Alec Altanese is he cannot manage the number 4 position right now. His style of play is very similar to what Travis said. So I think him being at 5 and playing counter-attacking innings is best for him right now. So Kirk McKenzie at 3, um, Kevin Hodge at 4, Alternate at 5, and Justin Greaves at number 6. However, is a case where we have 3 wickets down for less than 50 runs, depending on the pitch condition and who is bowling. I might be tempted to put Justin Greaves ahead of Alec Alternate, depending
All
on
right.
the right.
But now I have a bigger question for you. You mentioned it at the start. You said you had some worries about Tagenarine Chanderpaul, and you have some worry about Kurt McKenzie. Now, Chanderpaul, 2 innings, as we can see, 17 runs in the first innings, a duck in the second innings. So he's out of form. He hasn't been in the best of form in also or 4D competition or in South Africa. Would you now be tempted to, given that Joshua De Silva just made a century, batting at the top of the order, would you be tempted to throw in Joshua De Silva at the top or look at a Zachary McCaskey, another debutant who seems to be in better form than Tagenarine and Chanderpaul? Let one of those two open and then let Tagenarine sit this one out to get back some hunger.
Well, that's a very good question. Normally in Test cricket, I do not recall Test teams letting the rookie keeper open the batting. However, I would let Joshua De Silva open the batting if we're batting first. Right? Is it 100% guaranteed that we're batting first? No problem. I don't want to risk having Joshua De Silva opening the batting for rookie keeping for probably a day or more than a day. So Tendon and Chanderpaul has to sit out and Mackenzie open the batting. Yeah, I have a feeling that Chanderpaul is going to get worse because we have seen we struggled against our first class bowlers. He struggled against this Cricket 11 team. So he's definitely going to struggle against Australia first choice bowlers and put more pressure on Craig Brathwaite. And we know that Craig Brathwaite, I think, was a big mistake from him not to bat in the second innings. We know that in Test cricket, his record in first innings, he has an excellent average, but I really think he should have opened the batting with Joshua De Silva so we can see what he needs to change mentally and technically to see if he can get more runs batting the second innings.
Definitely. 100% agree with you that Craig Brathwaite, I looked at his numbers and his numbers are woeful in his second innings. However, I think Craig's issue would have been that had he opened the batting with Joshua De Silva, which with a struggling Chanderpaul, and given that they want to play Chanderpaul, they wanted Chanderpaul to kind of got some runs under his belt.
Right.
And so they gave him another chance. But given that now Chanderpaul has struggled in both innings, struggled in South Africa, struggled in our regional 4-day competition, struggled in the India series, um, why not? Here's another possibility. Also, you mentioned that you wouldn't open Joshua De Silva because he's a wicket keeper. And of course, it's difficult on the legs to bat all day and wicket keep all day. But just another information, Kumar Sangakkara would have wicket keep for Sri Lanka in Test cricket, batting at number 3. And this man averaged 52, and he was doing this in his mid-30s. And Joshua De Silva is just 25.
All
So
right.
in terms of fitness, why are we worrying that? And Joshua only plays Test cricket.
Well, with that said, Ronaldo, I would ask Joshua De Silva to do it at the first class level and see how it goes. But another temptation is seeing that Kirk McKenzie. So Kirk McKenzie, Alec Alsanage, and Tajana Chanderpaul, they have a lot. They're exposed to Test cricket, and I really don't want to have too much debutants in the first Test match. But all 3 of them can play. And a possible temptation is probably let Chanderpaul bat at 3 and maybe drop Kirk McKenzie. So that is the option they can also look at. But right now, those three, we wanted those three batters to put runs on the board in this match, but it did not happen. But we can't play all three. Two can play and one out. So I'm thinking they're looking either to drop Chanderpaul or McKenzie, or Kurt McKenzie. But they will definitely play Alec Alsanez based on the promise. You know, we need a counter attacking batter, and Alec Alsanez is the best option for that.
Definitely,
So
Atanas
right,
has to play, given that he was our leading run scorer in 4-day championship. And also
right.
he was doing very well in the ODI format. So we expect him to do well. He just had a bad game. However, given the struggles of his fellow left-handed teammates, Chanderpaul and McKenzie, as you said, one of them has to sit out, if anything, or one of them has to play, given that we don't want to start too many debutants. So another question, um, what do you think are the chances that we might open with Kurt McKenzie? Because he has opened in his first class career, and he averages round about the same whether he opens or bats at three in that low 20s. So
Hmm.
given that Shanda Paul is struggling, and McKenzie had to be right out there basically in the first over anyway.
Right,
So why
right.
not just go ahead and say, listen, McKenzie, you're going to open with Craig and then maybe push Joshua Da Silva up the order to 3, 4, 5, somewhere in that region. And then we'll take it from there. How about that?
Yeah, that can also work. That can also work. This is where innovation is needed. We don't have most of our first choice players, but how we manage our resources is very, very important. We have to look at the results from the game and what each player can do. But it's been a while, been a very long time. I've seen Joshua De Silva make runs. I don't I looking at how Joshua De Silva bats, I don't think number six, number seven is too low for how he bats.
Definitely, definitely. You saw there was a difference in terms of his intent opening the batting, and he seems to be a lot more assured of himself in terms of his style of play, what he wants to do. He looks solid at the top of the order. So why not, if he's making runs there, let him open. He's just 25. After these two test matches, what's he gonna do? He's gonna go back home for first class. He's not gonna be playing
Exactly.
ODI or T20. So I think we can say, listen, Joshua, you're gonna be in some pain at the end of day 5. You're gonna be tired. But guess what? You're doing it for the team, and you're gonna get a long break after this anyway. You only play test cricket, so come on, man. Let Joshua open. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Well, I would let him open right now, but I put him at three. I put him at three and let Kurt McKenzie and Craig Bosworth open. But it is tempting. It's tempting to let Joshua De Silva open. But I'll put him at three and see how it goes. And let Kurt McKenzie. And so I would say no, Kirk Bathwaite, Mackenzie, Joshua De Silva three, four Hodge, five, Alec Arsenas, and number six, Justin Greaves.
All right. Now, as it mentioned Hodge and Justin Greaves at 4 and 6. How impressed were you with these two fairly new to international cricket batsmen? How impressed were you with
Wow,
Hodge and Greaves?
very impressed, very impressed. Wow. I I did not expect those two to be the leading run scorers for us in this game. And they made, well, Hodge made more runs in second innings than the first innings, and Justin Greaves was unbeaten. So it goes to show that based on what they did in the first innings, they made adjustments. Right. So that's very important. And I think having a growth mindset is better than having all the shots in the book. Because once they have the growth mindset, when they play against quality bowlers, when they face them again, they will know what to do and what not to do. So they're not the most flamboyant players, but I think for us to go forward, we should move away from looking only at flamboyant shots. We need to look at how well these guys organize themselves. The shots they play, the shots they don't play. Some shots, horizontal shots, can be played, but on some pitches you have to put away that. So these are little things they need. We need players to make those adjustments. We don't need players now who play the same way all the time, regardless of pitch and situations. We need persons who can adapt to situations, and I've seen where Hodge and Greaves have that ability, and these will make them excellent long-term options.
Definitely, because I think Hodge walked in when we were 30 for 3 in the second innings, and he played a very measured innings. He knew when to attack, when to defend. Importance of strike rotation with Joshua da Silva and Justin Greaves. My gosh, he looks very impressive. Reminiscent of a Jason Holder at his best. So Greaves got all the shots in the book as well, and he's technically solid as well. Very solid in defense. So yeah, impressed with these two. But let's move on to the bowling now. In terms of the bowling, how impressed were you with Shamar Joseph? He's the youngster
Well,
everybody's talking about.
I'm very impressed. One of his wickets, he bowled a full delivery that basically nip back and bowl a batter and
Yeah,
to get
Wireless.
up
Yeah, Bold Wireless, I think his name is. Yeah, it was a
right,
beauty.
right. To get a bowl like that on an Australian pitch, wow, that's a quality dismissal. I'm very excited. He definitely has to play. So the bowling attack would be Kemar Roach, Alzari Joseph, and Shamar Joseph. So yeah, that is really the lineup for the pace. But all eyes will be on Shamar Joseph. We know what Kemar Roach can do is going to keep it tight with line and length. Well, for Alzari Joseph, I really hope they do not drop any catch from him. Because, he is cursed like that. They have to drop his catches, right? So the feeling was quite good. I believe against with a Kemar Roach, Alzari Joseph, and a Shamar Joseph, they will challenge the Australians in the early stages, but we have to take every half chance. We have to be tight in the field. We have to be tight in the field. Also have to remember that Steven Simmons will be open for the first time in Test cricket. So there will be some nerves. So we have to ensure that we hit the right lines and length very, very early to play on those nerves.
Definitely. And I think that one of the reasons why Steve Smith want to open the batting is because he has been struggling at number 4. He hasn't been his usual self, averaging 60s. I think he's now averaging 30 odd. So he wants to try something new. But I think Smith opening with his nerves, I think Alzari Joseph in particular can be able to give him some steady competition, rough him up a bit. I think
Right,
Alzari needs to be the man to rough up Steve Smith and say, welcome to opening in Test cricket. So I hope
right.
you're right. We can play on that. But you said that you'd have wanted the two spinners to play. Kevin Sinclair, Gudakesh Moti. Are you still of that view based
Right,
on
right. With Justin Greaves playing, yes. Why? In Australia, I believe having one end where you keep it tight and the next end where you attack is very important. I don't really think when the ball is not so new, you need to attack from both ends because you go for runs. And West Indies attack is very attacking, and I think two spinners will help them balance between attacking and bowling dry. Right. So, and Shamar Joseph is new to Test cricket, and Justin Greaves is also new. So there'll be, I don't want any situation where those two bowlers are bowling tandem. Right. So
okay,
though, yes, we
we get the idea. Definitely. You
right.
don't
So
want your
right.
two inexperienced bowlers to be bowling at the same time.
And
Definitely.
we saw in the series South Africa versus India where Shadu Thakur and Pradesh
And
Krishna,
Prashid Krishna, yeah.
when
It's
they
many
bowled in
runs.
tandem, they leaked runs. They leaked runs. Right, right. So we have to look at that. Don't want to experience fast bowlers bowling tandem. So that a
Definitely.
spinner is there to break that up. I know Kevin Sinclair can also provide some good batting option. He has really worked on his batting, really worked on his batting. So he definitely be providing some runs for us.
All right. Now that you've mentioned that you still want both of your spinners to play, so
Right.
you know, let's get into it. Tell me your 11 now. Off the bat, your 11 now.
All right. Craig Brathwaite.
Definitely you're going captain Brathwaite, but who to partner your captain?
All right. So going away, I'm chancing. I'm dropping Chanderpaul. I'm playing McKenzie. Kurt McKenzie
You're
to
going
open.
with, just to make it clear, you're saying Kurt McKenzie.
Right. Dropping
Go for it.
Chanderpaul. His form looks woeful. It looks woeful. All right. For number
Definitely.
three, we're going with Joshua De Silva. I mean, he shows that he wants more delivery to make runs. So I'm giving a promotion. Number four, I'm going with Hodge. That's for four. Number five, Alec Altanaz. Number six, going with Justin Greaves. Number seven, go with Kevin Sinclair. Number eight, we're
Yeah,
going
number
with
8.
we're going with Azari Joseph. Number nine, Kemar Roach. Number 10, Moti.
And
And then
Shamar Joseph.
it's right for 11. Right, right.
All right. All right. I don't think I would make much changes here. I love your 11, by the way. If this is the 11, I would have no issue with it. I have no issue with I have no issue with playing the extra bowler instead of Tejner and Chanderpaul. So go with the two spinners and the three seamers with, of course, our all-rounder Justin Greaves. Because if Chanderpaul is going to score 17 of 60 and then a duck, that's really not, he's not doing anything better than what the tail would do with the bat. So I agree with this 11, but Kurt McKenzie, only difference is I would just switch around McKenzie and the Silva. I would want the Silva to open. As I said, he's only playing test cricket. After these 5 days, he's going to get a couple days rest again, then come back for the second test. After that, the Silva will have a month off and then go back to first class championship. So the Silva is not playing as much um, international games. So why not let him, he's young, he's fit, he's 25, he's ready to go. He can wicket keep and also open the batting. He'll be tired, but it's fine. And I would want them to keep Athanaz at 4 since they gave him this match at 4. I don't want to drop his confidence to think that we don't believe in him. And since Hodge made runs at 5, I'd want him to stay at 5. So I agree with your 11. I just make that switch. So that's why I'd put that there. I would flip those.
That
And I
makes sense. Makes sense. You're playing person positions where they made runs in the warm-up game.
definitely. So
Yeah, all
I think
right.
it's very important to wherever they made runs, let them get accustomed to that position.
Right.
Right? They're already in Australia. They made runs there at that position to keep them there against the big Australian team. So it's important. You don't want them to wonder if they can make runs at this position. So
Right, right.
they already made runs there, they'd probably be more confident. But
Food for thought.
food for thought, definitely. But let's
Yeah.
wait and see what the selectors do
Right,
because
right.
or the coach rather, not the selector, the coach now. Let's see what the coach does. It's always up to the coach and the captain. So let's see what Brathwaite and Andre Coley does.